Meet Vain Matthew. Vain Matthew defines masculinity as being handsome, living in a high-tech mansion, driving a Lamborghini, and having 10 out of 10 women simp over you. Now meet Humble Matthew. Humble Matthew defines masculinity as offering something to your tribe, giving value to the people around you, helping out others, and being useful in society. So throughout high school and college, I was convinced that I was ultra masculine. And what made me think I am ultra masculine? Well, basically, it's because I felt this force within me. I felt this power within me. It was actually pride. Because I thought I was attractive, that I was interesting, charismatic, entertaining, that I was like a women's dream boyfriend, basically. And this made me proud of myself. And this pride within me made me feel strong, and it made me feel powerful. And being strong and having power are basically masculine traits. It's traits that are like associated with masculinity. And because I felt powerful and strong because of this pride within me, I felt very masculine. I felt ultra masculine. But then a bunch of girls were then brutally rejecting me and brutally friend zoning me, while everyone around me was getting into dates. They were getting their girlfriends, boyfriends, and even exes. Everyone else was dating, but I was being rejected and friend zoned by every girl. And it did not make sense to me. It did not compute, because I thought I was the attractive one. I thought I was the interesting one. And so it was confusing to me. But eventually, I realized through observing the world around me that I basically realized that when you are a man, the way you look, the way you act, your personality, your appearance does not matter if you do not first give value to the people around you, if you do not give value to your tribe. And when you are a woman, it's the opposite. The value you give to the people around you does not matter if you are not good looking and have a good personality first. Now, I am not saying that as a man you should not you should not care about being attractive, and as a woman you should not care about having a job and being successful. I am not saying that. I think you can try to be as good looking and interesting as a man as possible, and you can work on giving value to society as a woman. But those are things you should be doing for yourself, because it's things you want to do, but it's not things that most people will care about. What most people find attractive in men is what value they give to others, and in women it's their identity, their character. This is something I have realized through observation. So I realized I need to give value, because I wasn't really giving value. I was the kind of like frat boy, like I was partying, dancing, drinking, doing drugs, except not getting laid. And now I realize it's because I did not give any value whatsoever. And I was like, I need to give value. I need to get a job and stuff. But the problem was that the only thing that made me happy in life was feeling this masculinity within me, like feeling this pride, being as attractive as possible, being as interesting and entertaining as possible. The only thing that gave my life meaning was feeling attractive and feeling interesting, feeling like this women's dream boyfriend and stuff. This was the only thing that gave me true happiness, I realized. And so I was like, okay, I need to find a job, I need to give value to society where I can feel as attractive as possible. So what should I do? Easy. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a Hollywood celebrity. Because those are jobs where you are basically the value you give to others is how attractive you are. Like think of the Kardashians. Like they are millionaires or even billionaires at this point because they are attractive. Like that's the value they give. And it was the value I wanted to give. And so for example, I went on a bunch of gigs. I was an extra in several TV shows and movies, but it felt like almost like a dead-end job. Like I hoped that this would allow me to later become a successful actor, but it did not yet. But other than that, because like I realized that if you want to be an actor, you have to sign agencies and stuff, and usually that costs a lot of money, and so I need to earn money first with another job. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be an influencer. And I realized that we have social media. Like in this day and age, it's easier to be an influencer than it ever was before, because now we have social media. But the problem was that I have barely 200 followers on Instagram, and everyone else I know has like a few hundred followers at least. And it's fucking embarrassing. I am the one who actually wants to be an influencer. And I, of all those people, happen to have barely 200 followers on Instagram. And so of course I was coping. I was like, oh, who cares about social media anyways? Social media is not good for you. You should get off of social media and touch grass. But social media is literally the way you become a successful influencer. But I was like, no, I don't need Instagram. I'm gonna be a successful influencer through YouTube instead. And so I started this YouTube channel. But when I listened to myself and I watched my own videos, I had this terrifying realization. Like I watched myself and I listened to myself and I was like, holy crap. The guy I am seeing when I watch my videos is not this attractive and ultra masculine dream boyfriend. What I see is a disgusting spurg who looks like a disgusting spurg, sounds like a disgusting spurg, acts like a disgusting spurg, that kind of stuff. And then I realized the two things. I realized first of all that it's something I explained in the video number 1, sign you are unattractive, that I have always felt, like throughout high school, I felt like I was this attractive and entertaining, interesting, charismatic guy. And I realized that if you feel attractive, then you're probably not that attractive, because if you truly were attractive, you would take attractiveness for granted. It's something I go more in depth in that video, but basically that's what I realized. And what I also realized is that as a man, you're not gonna be attractive until you give value to your tribe, until you give value to the people around you. Only then will you be seen as attractive, because you probably have heard this analogy that men are invisible until they give value to society. But the problem was that the value I wanted to give in society required me to first be attractive. So in order to be attractive, I needed to give values that required me to be attractive first. And so it was a paradox. And so I realized I need to find another value to give to society, something that would not require me to already be attractive. Because as an influencer, if you want to be an influencer, like, you have to already be attractive. So I need to give something else where I can build up my attractiveness. And I was like, what value? This was my problem, because the only thing that made me happy was being attractive, feeling charismatic. It was the only thing that gave my life meaning. And you might think this is immature and a shallow way to go about life. And maybe it is. But what's wrong with that? Well, the problem with being immature is that it might ruin your life. And so I was like, okay, perhaps I am immature. But if that's the case, how can I stop being immature? How can I find something else that can give me happiness other than trying to be as attractive as possible? Because I have indeed tried to find other hobbies in life and other passions. Like, for example, I am currently studying electrical engineering, and so I am studying to be like a programmer and stuff and create hardware and stuff. And it is kind of fun. Like, programming is fun for me, but I don't want to be known as the programmer, because like, programmers are not attractive. You cannot become attractive as a programmer. At least, like, programmers are stereotypically seen as unattractive nerds who have like this nerdy voice. They are like, Python, Java, I program on GitHub, frameworks in JavaScript. Like, they are geeks. I don't want to be a geek. And so I was, throughout my studies in electrical engineering, I kept thinking like, oh, this programming stuff is fun. But I had to constantly remind myself, don't let this define you. Don't let this be your identity. Do not be the programmer. I don't want to be the programmer. I want to be the attractive, charismatic, ultra-masculine man. I want to be this Casanova who can attract a bunch of women. Because that was the only thing that made me happy. And I have tried to pick up other hobbies, like in my spare time. Like I have tried to learn a bunch of languages. 所以我现在学中文，我喜欢语言。Was my pronunciation good? I don't know. Was my syntax good? I don't know. But learning languages is fun. But what kind of value can I give with knowing languages? Well, I can be a translator. But I don't want to be a translator. I want to do something more meaningful. I want to inspire like other people. I need you to understand that programming and languages, it is fun, but it doesn't really speak to me as much as being attractive to women does. Like, being this attractive Casanova, that makes me more happy than anything else. I have tried picking a bunch of different hobbies, but nothing gives me the same amount of joy as whenever I feel attractive. It's something I have realized throughout all the years. And I think this stems from the fact that I grew up watching a lot of TV and a lot of cartoons, and this literally defined my childhood. Like, I remember seeing all those like James Bond superheroes characters, and I just watched them and I was like, wow, that guy is so badass. And I was so inspired by them. I was so entertained by them. I want you to like imagine, like you are seeing this James Bond, you're seeing this like Dwayne Johnson being badass, and you're like, wow, this guy is so epic. And then you're like, I want to be as epic as well. I want to inspire other people. I want other people to be as entertained as I am when watching all those like Hollywood celebrities and TV characters on the big screen. And so this is what I wanted, and this is why I am so obsessed with being attractive and being masculine and building my image, because I want to be like the cartoon and TV characters that I grew up watching, because it has played a huge role in my childhood. But I have realized the problem, that it's basically an autistic obsession slash fixation. And I have realized that I am not better than all the weebs, the like stereotypical weebs who watch anime all day. They are confined in their mom's basement and they do not get laid and they do not contribute to society and everyone makes fun of them. I thought I was different. I thought when I was sitting in a train and listening through my headphones to epic music like to Globus. I highly recommend listening to Globus, by the way. Like I was listening and I was staring at my reflection through the window, and I was listening to like, the world we roam 1,000,000 times before, and I was just listening to this and looking at my own reflection in the window and just feeling like this badass action hero. I felt like this made me badass, but now I realize I am just as pathetic as all the weebs who watch anime all day. Because neither I nor them contribute to society. And so I realized I have to give something to society. I have to contribute to giving value to society. I have to give value to other people. But my obsession with being attractive, it seems immature, it seems shallow, it seems self-centered, but deep down it comes from the fact that I want to inspire and entertain other people the same way I was inspired and entertained by James Bond and all the cool action heroes. And so this is how I want to give value to other people. But I could not find anything else that was meaningful, and I realized that you cannot inspire people, you cannot entertain them if you haven't already built value within yourself as a man. And so I realized I have to find something else meaningful. And so I realized I want to do something big. I want to save lives, for example. And so there was a time in my life, literally a month ago, I wanted to be a firefighter. First of all, because I wanted to save people's lives, I wanted to save others' lives, but also, being a firefighter is dangerous. You can die in the fire anytime. But I was okay with that because I was like, my life is meaningless. Literally the only thing that gives my life meaning is being as attractive to women as possible. And if I cannot accomplish that, then I have tried finding meaning in other stuff like languages and programming, but it doesn't give the same effect as feeling attractive and seeing my reflection through the window while listening to epic music on the train. And so I was like, my life is meaningless. My life could end and nothing really would change. But before my life ends, I thought I might as well save a few lives. And so I wanted to be a firefighter. But my dreams were crushed when I later realized that You cannot be a firefighter if you are on the autism spectrum, at least not in my country. And the same thing with joining the military. Like, you kind of save lives, you serve the country as a soldier, but you cannot do that when you are on the spectrum, at least in my country. But even if you could, I realized that those jobs are not very autism friendly. Like, as an autistic person, you would feel a lot of pressure and stuff, even if you were accepted into those jobs. And so I thought to myself, what kind of jobs can I have as an autistic person? Should I work at fucking Silicon Valley? I don't want to do that. Like, I could be a good worker there, but I don't want to do that because that really does not appeal to me. I feel like if you are an autistic person working in Silicon Valley, it just becomes the most stereotypical. I feel like it's the most stereotypical spurgy thing to do. It's like, oh, it's that autistic guy who works at Silicon Valley, that nerd. And I'm just gonna be like that nerdy guy over there, and I'm gonna talk like the good doctor. I'm gonna be like, hello, how is your day? Have a nice day. I don't wanna be that. I wanna be attractive. I want to be an inspiration. I want to do something way more meaningful. I want a job that can make me feel attractive. Saving lives would have made me feel attractive. Being a firefighter would have made me feel attractive. But being a nerd at Silicon Valley would not. And so it's kind of hard for me to find something meaningful in life. But I want to tell you a story because recently I actually encountered a Nobel Prize winner and his wife. I don't remember the face of the Nobel Prize winner because his face was so forgettable. He had no features. But the wife was low-key fine. Like, I could at least remember at the time how she looked. I cannot remember how she looked anymore. But then I heard that, like, oh, this Nobel Prize winner, he made this huge breakthrough. And it was the first time in a very long time that I actually seemed to have a respect for a scientist, for like a geek. Honestly, it was just because his wife was fine. But yeah, for the first time, I had the respect for this guy. And here is the interesting thing. I don't remember how this man looked, but I remember the breakthrough he has done in society, the reason why he got that Nobel Prize in the first place. I have no idea what the wife does. Is she also a scientist? Is she a housewife? I have no idea, but I remembered how she looked. And I think this had a symbolic meaning. It basically confirmed this philosophy that as a man, the way you look, the way you act does not matter. What matters is the value you give to society. And as a woman, giving value to society does not matter. All that matters is the way you look and the way you act. And once again, I want to make this clear. I am not trying to say that as a woman you should not focus on giving value to society, and as a man you should not focus on being attractive. I'm just saying that as a man, like, your number one priority should be working on giving value to others, and as a woman, your number one priority should be working on your character, your appearance, your personality, and all that kind of stuff. And then I remembered, like, when I was in middle school, before I had like this dream that I wanted, this feeling that I want to be as attractive as possible, I actually wanted to be a scientist because I wanted to be like Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory. And everyone knew that at the time. I was literally seen as the future Nobel Prize winner. And now, I really mostly view scientists as huge geeks who are not good in bed. Where have I gone wrong? But then again, I can also realize that, like in middle school, I was really unhappy. I was one of those cynical people who thought life is meaningless and we're all gonna die. But once I started feeling attractive, that was like the only time that I actually felt massive joy and fulfillment in my life, actually. And so I don't want to stop feeling attractive and feeling badass, feeling like a badass action hero, because it is something that gives me a lot of happiness. But I need to find something else in life so that I can give value to others, so that I can indeed become attractive. And I think this is hard because I have tried so many things, but nothing seems to appeal to me. Like, I don't want to be a nerd at Silicon Valley. Maybe I will change that in the future, but right now I just don't want to be that. I want a job that can make me feel attractive, that can make me feel like a Casanova, that can make me feel like Adonis or whatever. And maybe I am doomed to fail. Like, maybe I am gonna be a huge failure and I will not succeed in society because there's nothing that makes me happy other than being attractive to women. But deep down, I don't want to give up on life. I want to succeed in society. It's just that I need to find something that I can learn to enjoy doing, but I just cannot find it. If you are watching this, you can give me any advice, help me out. But personally, like what I think will work for me, like I am currently studying electrical engineering. I am currently trying to finish all the assignments so that I can get my diploma. It is fun. It doesn't really speak to me, but maybe I change my mind in the future. I try to learn languages and stuff in the free time. Maybe I will find like that it speaks to me in the future. But I think the second thing, because the first thing that gives me the most happiness I have already established, it's being as attractive as possible. But the second thing that actually, it doesn't give as much happiness, but it gives the second place. It's the second place. And that is calling out myself, criticizing myself and calling myself an immature, fatherless, beta male loser for only obsessing over being as attractive to women as possible. And I think I can give value to society in this way because I can warn other people to not end up like me. You might think there is nobody who is as immature as I am, but I disagree. Literally look at all the like Western women who appear on dating podcasts and do OnlyFans and stuff. Like, I can relate to them because like I know what it's like to be an attention seeker like them. I know what it's like to be shallow and narcissistic like they are. And so I feel like I can speak to them in a language that they will understand. I feel like I am the only one who can actually connect to them, and I can speak them out of this so that I can turn them away from degeneracy and help society make a better place and make sure that those women and those people don't cause the downfall of society. But that's what I currently think, at least.